Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Most Merciful. How do rumors spread? Is it okay for us to tell others of a sin that we have committed? How long would God conceal a sin before it is exposed? In Islam, we believe God conceals sins until we expose our sin. This is exactly what happened with Zuleikha, the wife of the prime minister, and the sin that she had involved herself in. God concealed the sin and the mistake of Zuleikha. However, it seems that Zuleikha went to her best friends and she told of her situation to her best friends. She basically said to them, look, I am madly in love with Yusuf. And here scholars of Tafsir have used the words of different psychologists and philosophers to describe to us the levels of love. And they have stated that there are 8 levels of love and infatuation. Love is right in the middle. And above that is when people are no longer in control of their emotions, are no longer in control of the decisions they make. Despite the fact that we may think otherwise, the last level that they have described does no longer, love is when you feel, I am comfortable when my partner is comfortable. One above that is, if my partner is uncomfortable, I am uncomfortable. If he suffers, I will suffer. So I am willing to give up my comfort for his. I'm willing to give up my comfort for hers. I'm willing to give up my sleep for my child's sleep. But when it gets to the last level, as they have described, you no longer want that person to even live if they don't give you what you want of them. Because the suffering becomes so intense. Because without this person, it's so difficult that you just wish they don't understand me. They deserve to die. How can I love this person so much to this extreme, and this person just doesn't care? I want them to die. So she goes and she says, look, I can't believe Yusuf. I love him so much. I've done everything to show my love to him, and he just completely ignores me. And it seems because and that's the words of the scholars of Tafsir, it seems because the way that the prime minister dealt with the situation was, in fact, a way where he wanted to protect his family. He wanted to conceal the situation. So he says, Yusuf, please don't mention this again. This is a big embarrassment. You should go and repent and let life go back to its normal course of action. While a separation may have been needed, according to the scholars, either she had to leave, Yusuf had to leave, there had to be a break, there had to be a period of seeking purity, taking a mental break. And that's why we need reflections. That's why when we wake up in the morning, the first thing that we should do is we should prostrate to God. We should remember God. We need to detox. So when that didn't happen, she wants to take it to the next level. And when she told her friends, and the news spread all over the city, وَقَالَ نِسْوَةٌ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ
وقال نسوة في المدينة امرأة العزيز تراود فتاها عن نفسه قد شغفها حبا إنا لنراها في ضلال مبين فلما سمعت بمكرهن أرسلت إليهن وأعتدت لهن متكئا وآتت كل واحدة منهن سكينا وقالت اخرج عليهن فلما رأينه أكبرنه وقطعن أيديهن وقلن حاش لله ما هذا بشرا إن هذا إلا ملك كريم قالت فذلكن الذي لمتنني فيه ولقد راودته عن نفسه فاستعصم ولئن لم يفعل ما آمره ليسجنن وليكونا من الصاغرين.
Some of the women, which they have said are the upper class women who had the ability to get inside her palace and mingle with her, and she would host them over, lunches or dinners or parties or drinks. Those women picked up on some clues and they took it out to the public. So let's say the rich and the famous, they knew about this. Imra'atul Aziz, the prime minister's wife, turawidu fataha an nafsihi, this young man who lives in her home, who basically belongs to her. Fataha means he belongs to her. Because Yusuf, remember, he purchased him, the prime minister purchased him as a slave. An nafsihi. قَدْ شَغَفَهَا حُبًّا. The scholars of Arabic and the scholars of Tafsir have mentioned that shaghaf is this level of love that is above, it is the deepest form of love where you do not have control over your emotions. You do not have control over your mind. You don't know what you're doing. And basically what they're saying is, look, she's a prime minister's wife. She can, even if it's not Yusuf, and she basically has the freedom to do whatever she wants, but she's stuck with the love of this man, and she doesn't know what she's doing. And the news is spreading in the city, and it's going to be very bad for the prime minister, for her, for Yusuf. Inna lanaraha fi dhalalin mubin. And that's exactly what they said. We see that she's so confused, she's lost, she doesn't know what she's doing. And I get letters from people. That tell me, please teach me a prayer. I love this person and he doesn't love me back. Teach me a prayer where this person loves me back. I have been praying 3-4 years. I have seen letters as such sent to me. 3-4 years for this person to give me attention, to love me back, and he doesn't love me back. Or vice versa. She doesn't love me back. She abandoned me. The feeling of a one-way relationship is devastating. Every human being, brothers and sisters, my beloveds, deserves to love and be loved. In fact, that's what's going to make life beautiful. If you only love someone and you don't feel appreciated and loved, there's always going to be something missing. If you are loved, but you don't have someone to love, you feel loved and appreciated, but your heart hasn't opened up to this person in a way where you can love them the same way, there's something that's going to be missing. And that's what kept this woman devastated. So the 31st ayah says, when she heard of their plots, when she heard of what they're saying, when they were basically shaming her for what she's done, she sent a message to them. She said, you know what? Come over for a meal. Come over to my home. And remember, we said that Zuleikha had kept Yusuf under her control. Yusuf's exit of the palace was even limited. She didn't want him to be introduced to anyone else. She had him on a complete lockdown. She didn't want people to even see him. And people just heard about Yusuf's beauty and who Yusuf was, and he's this person that now the prime minister is, the first lady is madly in love with. So those friends, remember the friends that she told? And they went out and they started shaming her and spreading their news. She sent them a message. And she said, let's just come over. She had tangerines and knives. And she sat down and she started describing how madly in love she is with Yusuf and why she loves him. So I'm sure she described his generosity and his soft heart and his forgiving nature and his discipline and his prayerfulness and his strong character and his physical beauty and his physical attractiveness. And they just probably listened. People love to listen to such things. And they were trying to, cut the tangerines. And she told people in the palace that with a signal that I give, I want Yusuf to just get in. get into the room. And while she was speaking to them and they were paying attention to her, suddenly this Yusuf, who's beautiful. And by the way, I'll say this, the more we leave sin, the more we walk away from sin while we can, the more God instills this nur, this radiating light that stems from spirituality and obedience within our nature. This doesn't, it's not exclusive to Yusuf. That's why you find people at the time of pilgrimage, in the month of Ramadan, when they recite the Quran, they literally glow. When they're standing in prayer, they literally glow. In the time of purification, they literally glow. It's probably not something that you could see, with the naked eye, but it's something that you feel. So he comes in and he's radiating light and he's beautiful and he's very honorable in the way he behaves, even the way he walks. وقالت أخرج عليهن. She said, he has to come in now. فلما رأينه. When they saw him, أكبرنه وقطعن أيديهن. They didn't realize that they were no longer cutting the citrus fruit. They started cutting their fingers and they started bleeding. وقلنا حاشا لله. Basically, subhanallah, how beautiful is this person? How beautiful is God's creation to be Yusuf? ما هذا بشر. He doesn't even look like a human. إن هذا إلا ملك كريم. No, he's got to be an angel. The story, the tradition says that they sat him down. Those 10 friends of Zuleikha, who were also powerful women, and some traditions say they were how he was a prime minister? They were the wives of the 10 ministers. So they come from the upper class, they're all also, have all the means to beautify themselves. They're women of power, they're women of influence. And each one of them said something to Yusuf. One of them said, hey Yusuf, what is wrong with you? Look how beautiful this woman is. And you realize that the prime minister didn't really do anything. Enjoy yourself. You're young. She loves you. Another one said, Yusuf, if you don't trust me, Zuleikha, as one that is going to destroy your life. She's going to send you to prison. She's going to punish you. She's going to harass you. She's going to accuse you. Another one, told him. Each one of them made a convincing argument. Subhanallah. There are always going to be such situations in our life when there are going to be two types of forces. One, that is people that are going to try to convince us to do the right thing. To spend our time in obedience of God. To do that which pleases God. To construct our hereafter. To let go of immorality. If we're making a mistake, if we're involved in a sin, to let go of a sin. To give money to charity. To stand firm in the obedience of God and that which pleases God. And there's also going to be the other voice. No, you're too young. Enjoy life. If you want to go to the pilgrimage, you shouldn't be going every year. But if you want to go to a vacation or you want to go to Switzerland or South France or Hawaii or Cancun or, spring break, you're young, enjoy your life. If you want to buy a $300,000 car, absolutely. This car is so good, it's so nice. But if you're trying to buy a $100,000 car and give $200,000 to charity, you know what happens to charity, and you never know what happens to charity. And people, the evil voices, are always there. Why? Because it makes them feel good about the mistakes they do. Especially if it's a circle of friends that we have. They camouflage within us to be as people who want the best for us, but indeed, they don't want to see one of their friends become righteous, pious, and do the right thing while they're still making a mistake. So this is what happened, and they found him to be very beautiful. So she says, this is what you shamed me for? Would you have done better? She said, ذَلِكَ الَّذِي قَالَتْ فَذَلِكُنَّ الَّذِي لُمْتُنَّنِي فِيهِ. This is what you shamed me for. This is what you blamed me and accused me for. Basically, you called me stupid for loving this man. And then she exposes herself in front of him and in front of them. And she just says it out loud. وَلَقَدْ رَاوَدْتُهُ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. and I wanted him, and I seduced him, and I did everything possible in my ability to have him. فَاسْتَعْصَمْ. But he was ma'soom. He was pure. He was infallible. He kept rejecting me. And he didn't reject her on the basis that she was ugly or unattractive. He rejected her on the basis of morality. I cannot do this. وَلَئِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا أَأْمُرُهُ لِيُسْجَنْ. Oh my God. Now this woman wants to take revenge. And if he would have given my seduction, if he would have done what I asked of him, I would not have sent him to prison. But now that he doesn't listen, I'm going to send him to prison. وَلِيَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. And I'm going to humiliate him. And I have seen this, brothers and sisters. I have seen people, partners in business, partners in life, friends, who want to take revenge from the person who does not yield to their desires. Especially if this person is trying to seek purity and their ill intentions have been exposed. They will fight back. And shaitan will infiltrate their minds and their souls, just like what happened with Zuleikha. If you went to Zuleikha, you say, hey, do you love him? Yes. Is he a good man? Yes. Is he a man of honor? Yes. Is he a man of purity? Yes. How can you send him to prison? I want to see him break. It's the self-esteem, I guess, that has been challenged. It is the self-worth where they realize that they're not worth anything. They've committed a mistake which has brought them down. And by his resistance, he is elevated so much. And the jealousy and the malice is exposed. This is literally what she says. She stands up and says, I'm sending him to prison to punish him. What happens to this Yusuf? In the next ayah, 33, basically Yusuf says, I want to go back to my simplicity. I don't want the luxury life anymore. And in the next episode, that's what I want to talk about. That sometimes we need a break from luxury. Even people that do live in luxury and have everything at their disposal, the best break for them is to go back to simplicity. They will find themselves and they will find God. Assalamu alaikum.